Spokane listens when business talks. Welcome to Business Talks, the region's only local business talk show with your host, Ryan McNeice. Business Talks is brought to you by our friends at STCU and Well Dressed Walrus. Now, let's get down to business with Business Talks.
Welcome to the show. I'm Ryan McNeice, and we are here with Sather Gowdy, founder of Heal Spokane. Sather, thank you for being here.
Oh, thanks for having me back. I appreciate it.
Of all people, you definitely have a busy schedule. Not only are you currently a third-year law student at Gonzaga Law School, but also founder of Heal Spokane. How do you do this time-wise? Only 24 hours in one day?
Yeah, but I think I'm a firm believer that if it's important to you, you're going to find the time to do it. So just being good about scheduling things, being diligent about keeping a calendar, and just kind of prioritizing life.
Well, I think what I find so fascinating and inspiring about your story is anyone in your situation, whether it be in law school or some other type of occupation, all individuals would say they're busy and there's not enough time in the day. But in your case, being a third-year law student, I think this particular aspect of your story starts your second year in law school, right before midterms. You had some challenges.
Yeah,
Discuss that and give us some insight on how we got to Heal Spokane.
All right, well, I'll take you back just over a year ago. Start of October, I was heading into midterms and feeling pretty good. Then I had a number of kind of painful incidents just happen kind of all at once. Shakespeare talks about how when sorrows come, they come not in single spies, but in battalions, and that was kind of how it went down.
Right.
I was in a car accident that totaled my car, left me with some bad shoulder and kind of head injuries, were left me kind of woozy for a while. I had two dear friends pass away within just days of each other, which was very tough, and then had a relationship that ended. So, by the last thing, I was pretty lost.
Right. And going into, you're having these personal tragedies and difficulties, heading into a highly stressful midterm, second year of law school. Yeah. Probably, would you agree, maybe as low as you'd been emotionally?
I was in a dark place, man. I was hurting pretty bad.
So did you have ideas of what might turn that around? You probably were questioning.
At first, you just are overwhelmed with anger, kind of and hurt, and just kind of feeling your dream. Like, I've wanted to be a lawyer since I was a little kid. So when I didn't want to even get up in the morning, didn't want to put pants on, didn't want to go to class, I felt my dream just slipping away. And I didn't know what to do. I knew that I needed to figure out something. I needed to start healing somehow, but you get in that funk where you just don't know what to do.
Or potentially, why me?
Yeah.
Why me?
Yeah. Constantly. I'm wallowing in some self-pity. And I can wallow with the best of them. So, but it was kind of a chance encounter with a neighbor that kind of sparked this. A neighbor asked me to help with some groceries, and I, even to my grumpiest and angriest, I'm not going to say no to an older lady who needs help.
Right.
And after helping her carry in these groceries for 20, 30 minutes, it was a ton of groceries, I realized it was the first time I felt good. It was the first time I wasn't hurting or I wasn't angry, that I was focused on something positive.
Thinking outside of yourself.
Yeah, and that meant everything to me. That changed everything. Walking back across the street, I said, this might be the way to get out of this.
And did it strike you at that moment?
Oh, I walked across the street
and
stopped in the middle of the road, and it hit me the first time I wasn't hurting. And I think when you're going through, emotional pain, it manifests itself pretty physically, and you feel it. And when that was just gone for a little bit, when the relief, when I remember what it was like to be kind of happy, I knew I needed to do something.
Well, you were questioning, what is giving me this current relief?
And I think that was the moment it struck me, and I decided I was going to, every day, do some sort of active service for somebody. And so starting, I just went outside, looked around, and was like, oh, my neighbor has a fence that's kind of broken. I'm going to fix a fence. Don't know anything about fixing fences, but the power of YouTube.
So was that the first instance after helping with the groceries?
Yeah. I walked out of my front door and just started looking right to left, and what can I do? How can I be of help to somebody?
What is in my world that I can play a part in?
And I just went one lawn over, and saw a fence. And I am not a carpenter. I know nothing about fixing fences, but I looked it up, went over to the hardware store close to my house, bought some nails, hammers, and a screwdriver, and fixed the fence. And I felt great. That was day one.
Well, and did that, going back to the original epiphany of potentially if I look outside of myself, stop wallowing in my own realistic challenges, and everybody has challenges, as you started to do these different acts of kindness, if you will, did that feeling just continue that you were on to something?
Yeah. Some days I felt a little more great, better. Other days it didn't feel such a strong impact. But I told myself that I was going to commit to it for a week and just see how it goes. But I'm not going to miss a day. I'm going to do everything for a week. And by the end of the week, I felt better. And so I said, okay, we'll do another week and another week. But it was going to be kind of a private thing. I never imagined really anyone was going to know about it except for my mother, my father, and maybe a couple friends.
Well, and Sather, actually, I'm glad you mentioned that because, we can talk about doing good deeds and potentially dramatize that you're doing good in the community. You are doing very well in the community, both for yourself and for others. But I think the sincerity, and you and I have discussed this, the sincerity of how this began and the sincerity of each step that you've taken, there's where that authenticity, I think, it's either real or not real when you're identifying things from the outside. Yeah. And I think you're a perfect example, unique example of authenticity.
That. Thank you.
And I think you and I had both commented that you really have in our community with Heal Spokane become a symbol of something bigger than what maybe we each individually are doing.
Wow.
That folks can, within their busy schedules, come up with ways to help others.
Yeah.
How currently, when you have sometimes upwards of 3-4 speaking engagements a week, and also potentially finals.
Yeah.
How do you make that work in terms of serving which master, if you will?
Right. Well, again, it's about prioritizing your life. Now, I've wanted to be a lawyer since I can remember. And law school is very important to me. It's the number one thing in my life. So that does have to come first. But that doesn't mean I don't have time to help. So every day I commit to doing some sort of service. So some days, like Mondays are my very busy class schedule day. Right. Some days it's dropping off a donation of canned food, and that's my service for the day. Other days when I have a little more free time, I like to get my hands dirty. I like to get out there, or I like to go to a speaking engagement for kids, trying to inspire them and have them understand the power that just being kind to people has, So it's just balancing, and it's just being good about scheduling everything out weeks in advance.
Well, and it appears you've done a good job of maintaining your sanity with that regard, because in terms of trying to serve different interests, whether you're serving your law school needs and requirements that are substantial, or as you've done, the community is now counting on you to provide continued inspiration for what you're doing.
I hope so. Yeah. I mean, I also have to say though, even when it's hard, it's always worth it.
Right.
Even on days where the last thing I want to go do is rake some leaves for somebody, or the last thing I want to do is go talk and prepare a speech. I try to write a new speech every time. But every time I do it, I'm reminded that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm helping people. This matters, and it's great.
I like how you're describing that, because again, you wouldn't want individuals to think this is just something that comes naturally. I just want to do good all the time. But the way you're describing it, again, with some authenticity, is there are days you don't want to do it.
Oh, 100%.
There's days that you want to put your self-interest and things that are on your top 10 list before it. But because you've, I think, figured out that there's a deep-seated need in our community, you keep doing it.
And also, I've been very blessed in my life. Even when those terrible things, those hurtful things were happening to me, I have wonderful parents. I have a support system. I've never wanted really for anything.
Right.
And I feel that I have a moral obligation then to give back to people who don't have what I've had. So on days where I'd rather just stay inside and, play video games or do something, I need to get out there and do something.
Right. So in essence, the pass it forward.
Yeah.
And you are a Spokane native.
I am. I love it here. So I've been here my whole life.
Meade High School.
Meade High School.
Okay.
And Whitworth, and then now Gonzaga.
Okay, so 4 years at Whitworth. And we had chatted a little bit before the show that post graduation, obviously the bar exam will be on your mind.
Yeah, it's coming up.
Will you be able to work those challenges in with continuing what you're doing with the foundation?
Well, one of the wonderful things that I'm really lucky about with our nonprofit is I have a great board of directors. So they all take on different tasks. They all work on service projects and stuff. So I don't have to be involved intimately in everything we do. So I will probably take a month and a half off to study completely for the bar.
Good for you.
But during that time, Heal Spokane will still be doing things in our community.
Okay, so again, a sense of delegation allows you to continue many of the endeavors that you're doing. And post law school, I think you have a genuine interest in staying in Spokane.
Oh, yeah. I love this city. I love the city so much, and I've invested a lot into it, into the people, into the community. And I want to serve this community, and not just through the charitable works or a nonprofit, but through my career as a lawyer. I want to, hopefully, with any luck, be a public defender, because I want to do criminal defense, and I want to litigate, and I want to...
And you always have.
Always have. My mother rolls her eyes sometimes at it, but...
Because it goes back that far.
Yeah, and but I really do feel that I can utilize the skills that I've been learning to help people who don't, have the financial resources to maybe get the top quality lawyers that maybe they would be able to get. So bringing my skills and bringing my passion to help people.
Well, there's plenty of need here in our community for that. We'll take a break here in just a little bit, but when we come back, I do want to talk about you had a unique opportunity through Gonzaga Law School last year to study in Florence.
Oh, yeah.
Was that quite an experience?
I can't say enough good things about the Florence program at Gonzaga. It is maybe one of the best programs out there. A chance to not only study and develop legal skills, but experience Florence. I mean, that's where art, history, European culture, everything collides together in this one city. And just to be a part of it, be a part of the people for a month. You're living in a neighborhood, you're walking to class every day, saying hello to the pasta making guy and the lady who's shucking corn on the street. It's amazing.
They're living their day-to-day lives just like we are here in Spokane.
And it doesn't take much to get involved. It doesn't take much to reach out a little bit, and then you are a part of that community.
How do you think that perspective has allowed you to push things forward positively with Heal Spokane?
I think it's a reminder that no matter where you are in the world, you are a part of a community, and that it doesn't take a lot to be intimately involved with the community. The Italians do a great job of welcoming people in. You sit down at the dinner table and your family there. They're passing you drinks and they're talking. They want your life story, and I think we can do that in our community. That's part of Healing Spokane, is reaching out to people who maybe don't feel like they have a place, bringing them in and saying, no, you are a part of us. Showing them that little bit of kindness.
Well, I think that's a good example where a community, whether it be Italy, Florence, or here in Spokane, and the Pacific Northwest, I would argue, is known for bringing folks into the fold.
Very much.
But I think you do a good job of explaining that that same idea of making each individual feel like they have a purpose, each individual is important, and bringing them into kind of the microcosm.
Definitely. I think that's how you get the best out of people. You make them feel welcome, like they are part of something. And people take ownership of that, and I think that makes us do our best we possibly can do.
Well, Sather, I think we all, whether it be here in Spokane or Seattle, Portland, or across the country, we see individuals doing a lot of great things. But it's inspiring to me to see how you've really taken this to a whole new level.
I appreciate that.
Let's take a short break and come right back talking to Sather Gowdy and Heal Spokane.
Sounds good.
Hi, I'm Larry Myers, owner of River Ridge Hardware. Welcome to our garden center here on the corner of Garland and Driscoll. We have fresh plants that come in weekly from all of our local growers. We can make your garden look like our garden. Here at River Ridge, we've been here 30 years. We're your full-service neighborhood hardware store. This is our sprinkler aisle, where my knowledgeable staff will help you put together your sprinkler system so it will make your yard lush green for the spring and summer. This is River Ridge Hardware's rental center, where we provide a multitude of equipment for rent for the do-it-yourselfer. Next time you're working on your home or yard this spring and summer, stop by, say hi, and we'll help you get the project done.
See you tomorrow night, and thanks again for taking care of the painting.
I got this.
Bye.
Weekends are made for painting. Let the experts at Rada Paint take care of you.
Hi. This looks amazing.
Rada Paint, over 80 years of quality, tradition, and trust. Find it in every can.
Hello there, Internet. My name is Braden Magruder, and I'm just coming out of the Spokane Talks building, and I'm excited to bring to you guys a new announcement that I am going to be the new host of the Youth Spotlight program. Now, our old host, Colin, he's off to Texas Christian University to pursue a degree in theater and broadcasting, and you know what? That's great for him, but that's what I like to call adulting. And you know, I don't think that we have time for adulting with the Youth Spotlight program. What the Youth Spotlight program is here to do is to bring to you guys news, the greatest news of some of the most amazing people here throughout Spokane that are, just going in high school, maybe about to go into college, you know. These people are achieving life streams and they are so young. And I think that these are stories that you guys should know about. And I'm so excited to be bringing them to you. Now, I'm a Spokane native myself. I've been performing throughout Spokane in various different shows. I just closed the show of Music Man, and you know, I guess I like long walks on the beach, keeping my business attire, while also keeping my French fry socks on close at hand. You know, it's going to be a great year, and I'm so excited to be your guys' host. So tune into Youth Spotlight to watch me interview some of the most amazing people. Thank you and have a great day.
Welcome back to the show. We're here with Sather Gowdy, Heel Spokane, and third-year Gonzaga Law student.
Gonzaga Law School.
Sather, we were talking about the immense pressures on your time and other people in the community time, but you find time to make it work and be a symbol of making change in our community. What are some of the events that occurred recently and just behind us, and then what are some of the events coming up?
Let's see. Last time I was here, I was just about to go to Florence. So
right.
After getting back from Florence, we did the National Night Out Against Crime. We participated in that in Shittle Park. Went out there, a great community event, got to meet some people that live close to us, or close to where I live, talking about what we do and, you know, asking how we can serve them the best.
And what were some of the ideas of how best to serve?
I think what was really cool is I love the fact that people are willing to just suggest things, right? Because I think if you want to help other people, we all have an idea about how we can serve best, but if you act with actual knowledge and you find the people that want to like give you the advice, you can do kind of anything and make it targeted to really help meet those needs. Mm-hmm. So people talked about some of the streets that needed to be cleaned, some of the safety issues regarding, you know, in the night, how do people feel? People don't want to go outside. People are a little scared. So kind of addressing some of those concerns. Also, youth activities, finding safe places for the young people of our community to go do things after school.
Participate in activities within those communities.
Yeah, where they have something to do, something productive and constructive to do. So we're talking with some groups right now about maybe starting to facilitate some of those things. So,
well, and I think in terms of your name recognition, not only you, Sather, but also hashtag Heel Spokane, as the name gets out there more and more, including an opportunity, I believe, Spokane Coeur d'Alene Living Magazine has a 20 under 40. Yeah. Not only are those nice accolades, but I think my point is those are giving you more and more credibility to further and further what your intentions are in the first place with Heel Spokane.
Yeah, accolades are very nice, and I'm an only child, so attention is, I crave it, right? But at the end of the day, I always try to say that Heel Spokane, to really like do its job, to fulfill the role that I think it can play in our community, it can't just be about me. Mm-hmm. It's going to take a community believing in this, believing in the idea that we can come together and heal Spokane. And that's what's going to make it thrive. That's what's going to make it help the most amount of people. And I'm kind of getting used to some of those accolades and some of the attention. It doesn't always come naturally to me,
right.
But I'm very grateful for it and very appreciative of it. But I also don't want it to become the Sather show.
Well, but I also think what you've done is to, as far as I'm aware, systematically build the organization in such a way that, yes, you have been somewhat the face of the organization, but with that, you've created a board of advisors, I believe. Yep. And tell me about that. How many people are on your board?
So there's a total of 11 of us.
Okay.
And it's made up of people that I've known throughout my life, some of my closest friends, also some fellow law students from Gonzaga, people that I believe, number one, have a heart for service and understand that kindness and service to the community is important. Also people I trust, just to tell me when, hey, Sather, you have a dumb idea.
Right.
This is not going to work. Or, hey, we need to maybe go focus over here, because we all have blind spots.
Right.
I know of certain community needs, but I don't know of all the community needs.
Or whether it might be a need, but how do we effectuate that need?
Exactly. And so having people that come from different walks of life, different areas, and different interests is very helpful, I think, in finding those places where we can do the most amount of good.
Well, and with that board comes probably the ability to exponentially expand, where it isn't necessarily just you, but rather the team effort. I mean, we all know the cliches, we can get more done as a group. And with the speaking engagements where you are the face to a lot of these kids, I actually love seeing the photographs that on social media of you up in front of these kids and you stand out amongst these little kids. I think that's probably, and you're probably feeling it, making a pretty big impression. Yeah,
that's out of all the stuff that we do, I think speaking to kids and trying to encourage them that they have an amazing power to change this world and to heal our community, like that's my favorite part by far.
Right.
Getting out there in front of a sea of kids and speaking to them honestly, being a little bit vulnerable about my story and where I came from and the hurt that I was feeling, but also showing them that, you can get through that kind of stuff, and the way to get through it is to help other people. I think it resonates pretty well, and I think, again, kids these days have an amazing capacity. They have access to information and to resources that, you or I didn't have when we were growing up, and they have so much agency. And I think if we can encourage them and show them that healing Spokane will require just little acts of kindness and that anyone can do it, that's how we're going to change things.
Right. I think you mentioned the word resonate. And yes, I think it can resonate, but I think it absolutely depends on the person that is out in front of the group. These kids have a great BS factor. And I think someone like yourself, the reason it's resonating is you as a dynamic individual up front, it is true.
I appreciate
sincere. Because if it wasn't, it wouldn't work.
Exactly. That's why I try to write. I've done over 32 or 33 speeches as of now since we started. I try to write a new speech every time.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because I'm a Winston Churchill fan. Winston Churchill's one of those people that I look to, especially about speaking and rhetoric and things like that, and persevering through some of the hardest times the world's ever known. And Winston Churchill always wrote his speeches from the ground up, different every time, because there's an authenticity that comes with that. I think you're absolutely right. If you're speaking to people and it's pat and just it's the same thing every time,
he did this
exactly.
He did this last.
And it's not going to resonate. But if you allow yourself to be a little bit vulnerable, you allow yourself to speak from truth, I think that's what resonates, and that's what changes people's minds and hearts.
Well, and I think that's where, and you indicated just a little bit ago, this is where the people around you, if they're the right people, are going to tell you when, Sather, that didn't land.
Yep.
That wasn't authentic. You're just showing up.
And I need that. You need that feedback.
Right.
I want to be effective.
So that you come out strong the next time and effectuate that change.
Oftentimes, I make sure to tell them, especially if they're like middle school, high schoolers, I'm not here to waste your time, but I'm here to give you some real valuable information that could probably change your life.
Right.
So give me this little bit of time and, take it for what's worth. And they seem to really appreciate it.
Well, again, the fact that you're being asked back time and time again, including, I believe, the Meade Fall Leadership Camp is coming up.
That's coming up the end of this week. I'm really excited. I went to Meade High School, so every time I get to speak there and do stuff for them, it's really from the heart. It feels great to go back and kind of try to affect change in my local community.
What age
so they're high schoolers, so they're going to be, I don't know if freshmen can go, but I know sophomores through seniors.
Okay. Well, clearly the school districts and many, many others are identifying I think the complexity and the dynamic nature of what Heal Spokane is doing. What type of feedback are you getting? When you're, for instance, you were just recently an expose in the Guidepost magazine. What type of feedback do you get when people are seeing what you're doing out there?
What's been really cool is the community response, because I think, sometimes you don't know how you do. Sometimes you don't know how things are being taken. But through this, people have been very vocal about their support, and it's meant the world to me, especially on those really hard days when it's hard to get out, and go do something.
Well, those days where you're questioning yourself.
100%. There's often days that I question myself and my ability to do this, So with the Guidepost magazine article, it was very kind, very well written, and I've gotten responses from people. It's a national publication, so people all over the country have been emailing me or messaging me on Facebook saying, "Hey, we wish we had someone like you in our community. How can we kind of do the same thing in our where we live?" And with my favorite part about that is I can just say, "Hey, these are the easy couple steps you can take personally to affect change." And I got a very nice email from a former. I was a teacher for a while at a daycare. And one of the little girls has been kind of following Heal Spokane. I sent her a shirt and stuff, and got an amazing message from her mom. And I actually printed it out and hung it in a frame in my house, because it's a great reminder. you know, that some kids are watching and looking up to me because I'm trying to get out there and make a change. And that means the world to me.
Well, and you see these memes out there that say there are days that we each have to look and say, is this the day you're going to quit doing something or stop moving forward? But then you remember who's watching.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're describing
100%.
is because these pictures that I see you up in front of those leadership events or elementary school speaking engagements, those people are watching and you're affecting change.
Yeah, and I don't want to let anybody down. This means a lot to me. This is the support from the community, the trust that people have placed in me. I'm not going to squander that. And so I will work hard and I continue to work hard because I love this city, I love this community, and we're doing really good things.
Well, and I think obviously you got to take care of yourself at the same time to allow yourself to have that longevity.
Certainly.
But you spoke of work-life balance between your law school requirements as well as what the community is asking of you and what you are wanting to give.
Yeah.
Keep up the good work.
Thank you, man.
You're doing a great job.
Thanks for having me back. I really appreciate that, man.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate your support.
You bet. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Business Talks is produced in Spokane, Washington by SpokaneTalksOnline.com, which is solely responsible for its content. Ask a question, recommend a guest, and hear this program again online anytime at SpokaneTalksOnline.com. Business Talks is brought to you by our friends at STCU and Well Dressed Walrus. Business Talks wishes you good business and a good day.